On today's video, let's talk about Mightiest Governor. All the tips and tricks that I found out along the way that'll help you through a successful Mightiest Governor campaign to potentially unlock Constantine Saladin and any other commander that is exclusive of Mightiest Governor in the future. These are things that I learned along the way as I unlocked my Saladin. And so while I've never won a Mightiest Governor, because I've never really aimed for it, I believe that these tips will help every single level of player from a free-to-play all the way to the biggest spending player in the kingdom to guarantee a win in Mightiest Governor, or at least as high of a placement as you desire in order to unlock every commander you would like. Everything in this video, smash a like on it, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to the Gekko. Today, let's give you guys a list of tips, tricks, and advice that I found out along the way on Mightiest Governor that I think will be very beneficial for you guys to guarantee a successful campaign and get that top placement you guys want in Mightiest Governor. If you guys like this kind of content, talking about Mightiest Governor, all that good stuff, smash a like on the video and of course, subscribe to the channel. Here's the deal. My first tip for you guys is day 5 killing event is the most important as everything can change in that event. Day 1 is the second most important as you can set a tone for the beginning of the event. But don't sleep on days 2, 3, and 4. Do not sleep on gathering, on barbarian hunting, and on power events. If you have the ability to push some buildings, to push some researches, power event is a great day to do that. Gathering event is probably the worst day out of them all because you are limited to how much you can gather because it takes time, and so you cannot gain infinite points. There's a limit of how many points you can get. Barbarian hunting is an event that as long as you play, you can get as many points as you can get through. But a lot of people skip on days 2 and 3 and sometimes on even 4 because it's not that many points. Do not do that. You can easily gain a nice little 3 to 5 million points by doing days 2 through 4. And when you do that, you're closing the gap that you need to close even further by doing smaller events that don't require that much and will give you very little points, but still will give you points. Don't sleep on especially on the barbarian hunting day. If you have the AP that you can burn a little bit and you're trying to push, it doesn't harm to push some AP in order to gain points. Definitely make sure you're always gathering through the gathering day, especially if your alliance drops a gold node. One of the most important tips I have for you guys is drop a gold node about, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours before the gathering day starts or something like that. And then you can ensure that everybody who goes into that gold node, when they come back, they gain a boatload of points out of it. I don't know what the exact time is for the most efficiency, because quite honestly, if you have 5 more gatherers or 5 less gatherers in the node, it's a huge difference. So you want to do it in a time that you'll guarantee that it ends during that day, but you don't want to do it the night before, the hour before or something. Give it a little bit of time so you know you can gather more throughout the day. So that's tip number 1. Don't sleep on days 2, 3, and 4. My Mightiest Governor is going to happen right here when we're going to push researches and buildings all the way to tier 5s. That's right, we're going for tier 5s, and hopefully it'll be enough to end up placing somewhere that I can get some Constantine sculptures out of it. My second tip for you guys is for training day. Train tier 3s through time naturally. That's right, I've been training tier 3s. I've been training tier 3s since I unlocked Saladin. When I unlocked Saladin, I had all these guys upgraded to tier 4s and then lost them all during Lost Kingdom. And then I pushed for some troops during one of these events to gain some troops and to win the event. And from there, I went strictly into daily tier 3 training only. Why? Because the best way to make points, the cheapest and fastest ways in terms of resources and speed ups to gain points is upgrading tier 3s to tier 4s. Why? You gain 20 points by upgrading tier 3s to tier 4s. And you can see I've had 2 takes that didn't work out very well because I did that with these guys. So now let's go for this. And hopefully this is the take that'll stick and I don't have to do this again. But what I do is I train natural tier 3s. And that takes about 20 hours worth of training. And so I am left with about 7 hours worth of training. and a little bit of resources, much less than training an actual set of tier 4s, about half of it. Unfortunately, it'll cost you about half to train these and then the other half to upgrade them. So it's the same cost. Everything is the same, except that when you're training tier 3s naturally through time, you're essentially spending 2/3 that it takes to get a tier 4, but you're gonna get half of the points. What do I mean by that? If you divide tier 4s by 4, each fourth is one tier 4. You can see the tier 1s take 5 hours, tier 2s take 10, tier 3s take 20, which is double from this. So this double from this equals that. This double from this equals that. And then from here to here, it's not an exact double. It's like 1.7-ish. So by training these guys, which are even less than that, by training these guys, you are already putting down ahead the half of the resources, and you're putting down ahead 20 hours of natural time. And so when the time comes to push, you're only spending half of the resources you would usually need and about 7 hours out of the 1 day and 3 hours worth of speed ups. So you're pretty much guaranteeing more than half of the time and half of the resources spent ahead of time, and therefore during the event you won't need them. The amounts of points you'll end up getting is the difference between the points. Now I know I'm going to be blocking this with the camera, but for tier 1s you get 5 points, tier 2s you get 10, tier 3s you get 20, and tier 4s you get 40. And you receive the difference between the types, the difference between the troops based on upgrades. So training tier 3s to tier 4s will give you 20 points, but in terms of speed ups, it'll cost you the same, half of the speed ups. You'll get half of the usual amount of points, 20 and not 40, for half of the speed ups, but way less, half of the resources, but way less speed ups. And so you don't need that many speed ups and you can push much more. Bottom line is, do the math. You'll find out that tier 3s to tier 4s is the best solution. And by training tier 3s naturally, you're paying the credit ahead of time. You already have all this credit available. And so I will indeed upgrade these tier 3s to tier 4s. If you wait for some, for a juicy kingdom buff, and you also wait for general plus a rune, you can end up really with upgrading tier 3s to tier 4s in like 6 hours, if I'm not mistaken, or 7 hours. It is 6 hours. It drops all the way down to 6 hours, and that's really good in terms of the speed ups that you need. It's much less speed ups to get a good amount of points. Tip number 3 I have for you guys: time your buildings and your researches. Now, somehow I got lucky, and this research that's been running naturally for over 2 months is going to reach its conclusion 2 days after my day comes. And so I'm going to only spend 2 days worth of research speed ups on the power day. And yet I'm going to gain a nice little over 1 million points for this. 1.6 million points like that. No resources needed, only speed ups, and not that many speed ups. Make sure you're timing your buildings, your training, and your researches based on the days. I'll give you guys another example that's not necessarily this, but it's actually training troops. I did my research on this piece of paper, and I figured out how much it takes for me to get 22,000 tier 5s trained. Why 22? Because when using a reserve, an army reserve right here, you'll be able to really increase your troop capacity by training by 20,000. And so by using this, I'll be able to train 22,000 troops and not only 2,000. And so I've been saving those for tier 5s. 22,000 tier 5s will cost 15 days worth of training. And so if I start the training the day before, during the day before the previous Mightiest Governor, so if I start today 22,000 tier 5s, or yesterday 22,000 tier 5s, they'll be ready for next Mightiest Governor. And so I can instantly gain the amounts of points from training all these troops, or from speeding up all the researches, or speeding up all the buildings by simply using natural time. Time your buildings, time your researches, time everything. Look at when the Mightiest Governor you want to go to is. Save up the big buildings and the big researches and all that for that time, and go heads on when the time is there. And that is our time right now. All the researches that are left in here are big researches, which I've been hoarding onto for the day we do Mightiest Governor. And that day is coming soon. Thursday is the day. Fourth tip for you guys is an unfortunate one, but it's a must. You have to prepare ahead of time. And you have to be picky. If you are looking to unlock commanders like Constantine and Saladin, you obviously are not going to go for an El Cid or a Julius Caesar or whatever is in Mightiest Governor nowadays. You're going to go for those specific ones. But that's going to take time. And even when those Mightiest Governors happen, the whales in your kingdom are going to want them first. And so my tip for you guys is plan. Plan, plan, plan. And with planning comes hoarding and comes discipline. I've been hoarding speed ups and resources for so long that I don't think I need any speed ups or resources to get through to tier 5s and even more than that. I never needed any resources or speed ups when I did my Saladin push. Even though back then some of our tier 5s did help me out with some resources, but it's not that I needed them. They were helpful towards me, which was great. And so plan. Plan, plan, plan. Know how much it costs to get your troops trained. Know how many research speed ups, training speed ups, and generic speed ups you have. Keep an Excel sheet. It's super simple. If you guys want me to send you guys an Excel sheet on my Discord, of course, leave me a comment down below. I'll post it on the Discord so you guys can use it for yourselves. Use like the little formula to check how many researches you can do, how many speed ups you have, how many days are left, and things like that. If we have all that data available, you fill in your own data based on your situation and your account, and you'll be able to know exactly how many points you can get, how many points you need, and all that stuff. If you guys want that Excel sheet, again, leave me a comment down below and let me know to leave it for you. And if so, I'll definitely leave it on the Discord group available for everybody to download and utilize it on your own. You have to plan ahead of time. Final tip for you guys is understand what your position is within the kingdom. Now, I am in JWM. This is, I think, the third Constantine Mightiest Governor. And I intentionally skipped the first two because I wanted to understand what my position within the kingdom was. How much do I need in the kingdom once it's on its top hype to get what I want? And so you need to understand that you cannot go crazy on the first Mightiest Governor. You should let the first one go, see where the levels are, potentially let the second one go, and then the third and fourth one push. You know what you need to get done. You know how many speed ups you have. You know how much it costs you to get points. Do the math and get it done. Understand your position. Understand how much you can spend, how much you have, and work based on that rather than do everything just to do it and then find out that you ended up a bit too short and so everything was a waste, which is something that might happen to me, by the way. Because while I think I could potentially end up somewhere where I can get Constantine, if someone decides not to let me, or because for any reason whatsoever, yeah, I'll be screwed regardless. One small last tip before I leave, even though I said that was the last one. Understand that you don't have to end up top 5 to get sculptures. So you can see right here in the rewards that all you need really is one of two things. Well, technically one of three things. Either end up top 15 and unlock the commander in one shot, end up top 25 and unlock the commander in 2 Mightiest Governors, or through 3 Mightiest Governors, you end up, 4 Mightiest Governors, sorry, you end up somewhere in top 35, where if you did it 3 times, the 4th time you can actually end up really top 45 or even top 50 and guarantee yourself to unlock at least the commander. So aim somewhere reasonable. I am aiming for top 25. I think that if I can get here this time around, next time around, with tier 5s, I can do a crazy tier 5 push and end up with another 5. I think that I could do it. I'm never aiming here because I know that realistically, I cannot play in the same playing field these guys are playing. 25 million points just now, and there's still plenty of time on our kingdom buff and still general going around. I know that here is not somewhere I can end up, but I can compete for top 25. I can compete for top 15, maybe. But I know where my place is in my kingdom. Do you know where your place is in your kingdom? Do the math, have everything prepared, and when Mightiest Governor comes, execute. Good training during day 1. Lots of pressure during Barbarian Day to keep closing the gap to where you want to be. Get the gathering going non-stop. Push some buildings and researches and whatever it is if you can. And of course, killing event. Find a partner to go crazy with and just go bonkers as much as you need. If any of these tips helped you guys, hit a like on the video. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything about Mightiest Governor, talk to me in the comments down below or on Discord, link in the description as well. I reply to all the comments. I give as much feedback as I can. If you guys want to tell me your personal situation and get a little bit of a one-on-one feedback, come join the Discord group. Post in the lounge group, in the lounge room, your situation. There's going to be plenty of people out there to help you as well as myself. I'm the Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Wednesday, huge stream. Big things happening on Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. And I'll see you sooner rather than later. Wednesday, 4 p.m. UTC. Peace.